Well, I might not have the Atari 2600 Plus yet, but I got the next best thing.
I can hear the demons call when they do what they do, and now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through.
Greetings, comrades, this is I'm Caleb, back with another unboxing video, and this is officially the 999th video on my channel, which means my history of gaming video, which I will start working on after this unboxing and stuff, will be my 1000th video on this channel. It's crazy. Now, before we continue with this, make a long story short, I ordered an Atari 2600 Plus from a third-party seller on Amazon back in late May, because I had some birthday money from family members, and I used that to order one of those. Pretty good price, but it's been nearly a month now, and it still hasn't shown up. And basically, if it doesn't show up at the end of the month, I'm going to contact Amazon and see if I can get a refund or something like that. So basically, yeah, don't order anything from this seller right here on the screen right here, because I should have checked the reviews before ordering anything from them. Basically, there are reports of people not getting their orders or arriving really late and stuff like that. So I really should have checked the reviews before ordering. That was definitely my fault, but at the same time, I don't know how Amazon lets sales like that, you know, on their platform. So come on, Amazon, get your shit together. Okay, that will ran out of the way. And apologies, my fans on. It's really hot. It's like almost 100 degrees right now. Plus, I got off late from work, so yeah, so I'm sounding a little less energetic than I usually am in these kind of videos. But yeah, since I figured the 2700 Plus is still going to come in time, I figured I order another Atari 2600 clone console from a little company called Hyperkin. Now, I want to go on record, I'm starting to like Hyperkin. You know, their Xbox controllers are really good. Their retro controllers are pretty good, and heck, the Retron 3 and Retron 5 are awesome clone consoles, at least from my experience. You know, quality control, you know, is back and forth with a lot of these companies like Hyperkin, Retrobit, and stuff like that. So, you know, take that for what you will. You know, my consoles work fine, but your experience may be different, so take what I say with a grain of salt. But anyway, for a while they made a clone console for the Atari 2600 called the Retron 77. Now, the original one kind of mimicked the original wood grain look of the original Atari 2600, and this one goes for like a sort of transparent orange, like, I don't know, retro tangerine. I don't know what to call it, but it looks cool enough. But basically, I mentioned before that the Retron 77 is actually a kind of like the Retron 5. It's a software emulation console. Basically, you plug in a cartridge, it rips the ROM from the cartridge and puts it in a temporary memory. So it's pretty much a one-on-one replication of the game you're playing with the natural HD visuals and whatnot. But this one's, of course, limited to Atari 2600 games. Now, the reason I ordered the 2600 Plus is not only can I play 2600 games, but it could also play Atari 7800 games, which there weren't too many of those, but it could play those too. But I wanted to experience Atari 2600 gaming because I never had an Atari 2600 before. I never played an Atari 2600. My sisters had vague memories of playing an Atari. I could talk again. I got off late from work today. My sisters had vague memories of playing an Atari 2600, but they mostly have memories of the NES like I do. Granted, I didn't play too much of the NES, which I'll explain in my history gaming video later on. But I wanted to experience what gaming was like. It was 50 years ago, almost 50 years ago. 1977, the year Atari 2600 came out. It's 2026, so almost 50 years. Man, gaming has come a long way since then, for better or for worse. Mostly for worse these days, but yeah. Anyway, let's take a look at the box and stuff. I know it's just still wrapped in plastic. Let's go take the plastic off. How about that? Now, Mad Little Pixel covered this console a long time ago. Rockstar Productions covered it a while back, and I figure it might be a decent console to have, especially given the price. You know, if you try to buy an Atari 2600 Plus now, it's like around $200, which granted might be almost the same price as getting a regular one, but you know, you don't have HDMI on those. But this is just like less than $80, so I decided to go this route instead. But if the Atari 2600 Plus ever does come in, I'll do a video of that. But if you don't see a video months from now, then I think it's safe to say it hasn't shown up. Anyway, enough about that. The Retron 77 Premium Retro Gaming Console. Console de jeux Retro Premium. Okay. For Atari 2600 cartridges. And actually have the console as well as the Trooper Atari 2600 controller. There's also another controller called the Ranger, which is basically looks like more like a traditional controller, like an NES controller, but it has a little dial on the side so you can play like paddle games like Breakout, Kaboom, and other games like that. Might have to get one of those later. There's like $25 deal. So anyway, so there's the side of the box here. There's a top, had like a sort of a reddish brown hue to it. Yeah, premium retro gaming console. HD audio and video, compatible with Atari 2600 cartridges with homebrew support, so this can play homebrews, and original joystick and paddles. Joysticks and paddles, so yeah, if you have original Atari 2600 controllers and paddle controllers, you can use those. Upscale to 720p HD with 4:360x9 aspect ratio button. Who plays retro games in 16:9? If you do, you're insane. Just stick with the original ratio 4:3. 2 controller ports with 1 premium controller included, 10-foot cable. Now I already showed off the other Trooper controller. Well, actually now I have 2 controllers. Granted, the Trooper I have has a wood grain design. This has that weird clear tangerine thing. Onboard mode select, color change, color black and white, and save states. And a 6-foot micro cable. I'm assuming this is the main micro USB with an AC adapter. If AC adapter is not included, we strongly advise you use a 5-volt 1-amp USB wall AC adapter. I got plenty of those lying around, so yeah. HD audio and video, aspect ratio button, premium controller, and micro cable. Why don't they call it micro USB? Is it because of licensing or something? I don't know. Anyway, nothing on the bottom, and just a little sticker on here. Let me, notice this is my second, my penultimate video to my 1000th video. I'm going to go over the top of the, unboxing. We're going to be using a tomahawk because I'm a psycho. In case you're one of those guys, I use it to cut up tree branches in the backyard. Might need a sharp, but it's been a while since I used it. Anyway, let's go and open this up and take a look. Alright, here it is. Looks pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so here's a console itself, but before we look at this, okay, accessories. Attention! Hyperkin strongly advises using the Retron. Advises the Retron only be operated with at least a 5-volt 1-amp USB wall AC adapter. Use of a lower power AC adapter may affect the performance of your Retron 77. No problem with that. So it said micro cable. That's just probably micro USB. But this is an older console. So there's like in the around 2020, I'm gonna say. I could be wrong there. Yeah, it's micro USB, so yeah, it is an older console. So there's the AC adapter. Here's the HDMI cable. You know what those are. And your usual instruction manual, you know, don't throw it over the fence, you know, don't put it in the dishwasher, don't strap it on a missile and launch it in North Korea, because they'll probably shoot it down. And you got your Play Well card here, and Hyperkin. I have like a bunch of these. Now, and here is the Trooper controller that comes with this one. And I'll move that away, situate myself. And here's the Trooper controller. Comes with this Retron 77. I'm not sure what to call this design here. You got the like translucent tangerine orange, and these like blue, purple cloud things. I don't know what to call them. But yeah, it's a stiff joystick. But you know, this is what it was like back in the 70s and early 80s. So you know, have what you will. And finally, we have the Retron 77 itself. And looks pretty good. I'm not sure what these lines are here. There's a few light molding cracks in there, but you know, it feels pretty solid. So yeah. So anyway, there's where the cartridge goes. See right there. Yeah, these cartridges are a lot different than the NES cartridges you see now. So yeah, right here's the front I/O. So we got the on and off button. This kind of emulates the Atari 2600 power button. Now the Atari 2600 had 4 or 6 switches depending what model you got. And actually, one's a power button, one's a game mode button, which lets you change like different game modes and stuff on different games and stuff. How many times did I say games in that sentence? There's also a reset button, and there's also a black and white button or switch on that, which it's actually going to be back here, but I'll show it off in a minute. So we got save, load. So yeah, we have save states on here, reset, mode, and we got your control ports here, player 1 and player 2, and the skill button, which there's a on the Atari 2600 there's a switch on the back that says like player skill 1 and 2 is like A and B, so if you want to play like a kind of harder game you can. So it's going to be interesting how that works. And the back here, there's your micro USB for power, there's your HDMI, your fry button, I'll get to that here in a minute. There's your 3x16x9 button, the color black and white button, and we have a micro SD card slot with an SD card in it, because this has a few games loaded on here, if I remember correctly. Which, yeah, as I mentioned, this is a software emulation console. This uses Stella, which is an Atari 2600 emulator. I'm not sure what version this uses, but I saw Mad Little Pixel play it. It works pretty good. He also mentions the fry button, which basically, there's a weird thing with the Atari 2600. I looked it up. Basically, you like mess with the cartridges while the game's like plugged in and on. Or I think if you like sort of like mess with the power switch while it's on, it causes like weird like glitches and stuff, and sometimes like accesses do features in games and stuff, which is kind of weird. Interesting little feature to have. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but yeah. So there's a console itself. Now, there's one little problem. I have no Atari 2600 games. Funny thing, you know, another reason I ordered the Atari 2600 Plus is because it comes with a multi-card which has 10 games on it. Like I said, the Atari 2600 Plus still hasn't shown up yet. So, yeah. But thankfully I can fix that. You know, I have ways of getting Atari 2600 games. There are a few retro game stores around my town where that's still Atari 2600 games, so I might try my luck around those. And of course I can go on eBay, order some games there. Heck, I might even find some on Amazon if I look hard enough. But I'll tell you right now, when I do get any new or old Atari 2600 games, you better believe I'm going to be cleaning them. And I have something that will help me out with that. Now, this came in a few weeks ago, and I figured it was a nice little thing to have because Atari 2600 cartridges, they're a bit different than like NES, SNES cartridges and stuff like that. The PCB that connects into the cartridge slot isn't exposed. Like, it only reveals itself like when it's plugged into the console. These little tabs here that actually push little tabs in the cartridge, which open the doors, and then the circuit board goes in there, and you can play the game. Which means that you can't really clean the cartridges until now. Now, if you watch Rock Solid Productions, you might be familiar with this company, 1UP Card. They basically create like a special cleaning products for like retro consoles and cartridges and stuff like that. And this is interesting. This is an Atari 2600 cartridge opener. So basically how it works is you put your cartridge in here, you line it with these tabs, then you put this tab on the top, put it on top, it'll open the cart, and then you can go inside and clean it. So this is a nice little thing to have. So when I start getting Atari 2600 games, I'm going to be using this to clean them. Now, yeah, I don't have Atari 2600 games right now, but there are a few games built in here. That's what that SD card's for. Mad Little Pixel showed it off, showing that there are a few homebrew games in this cart, and some say you can actually load up updated version of Stella on here and load in ROMs that way. But me, I kind of want to go for more authentic feel, get an actual carts and play those. Which, by the way, I mentioned software emulation. A few videos back, I mentioned the Atari 2600 Plus is a hardware emulation. I was actually wrong. It's just like the Retron 77. It is software emulation, so it dumps the ROM from the cart into temporary memory, so you can play it that way. So, yeah, it just looks more refined because it actually looks like Atari 2600. And if I recall, the emulation's better because it plays 7800 games, and you know, some games will work on this, some won't, but the Atari 2600 Plus has better game compatibility, so yeah. So yeah, that is the Retron 77, and there we go, my 999th video on this channel, which means I'm not sure when the new video is going to be out. It's going to be a while because it's going to take, this is a one-man operation. You know, I got to record footage, you know, like different chapters and stuff. I got to, you know, do voice recordings, you know, get like different pictures to show off and stuff like that. And I don't know how long it's going to be, so it's going to be a while before it sees the light of day. But rest assured, it's going to be a big event, at least for this channel. You know, almost 10 years of being on YouTube and uploading almost 1,000 videos, and this is quite a milestone for me. So for a channel with as few subscribers as I do, you know, I've seen channels with millions of subscribers that don't have nearly as many uploads as I do. But I guess, like, you know, quality over quantity. But hey, what makes my channel authentic? It's, you know, it's me. It's authentic. I don't use AI. In fact, I hate AI stuff as much as the next guy. You know, this is an actual person, you know, sitting in front of his computer with a microphone, and, you know, his keyboard, mouse, and controllers, and, you know, playing games and just talking about stuff. You know, it's an actual human being behind this channel, not some AI slop you see nowadays. But yeah, it's one of the reasons I make videos, and why I'm going to keep making videos, because it's something I enjoy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that 1000th video. Like I said, it's going to be a while. No one's going to see the light of day, but rest assured it will come. So anyway, I'll probably start hooking this up later, and once I get Atari 2600 games, I might show up in shorts in the future. Until then, this is Caleb signing out. Y'all have a good day.
I feel like all is lost, but I know it's not true. I wanna put up all my walls cause I'm not in the mood, but then I cut myself off from the rest of the room. I know that time can heal it all if you're patient, and soon it can all be worth it. All the searching, pain is never really